Hello everyone, my name is Sierra and welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be a Pilates flow to help improve your digestion. So while eating a nutritious diet is important for digestion, moving your body is equally as important. So let's get onto the mat and start our warm-up. As always, let's start with some cat-cow stretches. So keep your core engaged throughout the entirety of this movement. I know it looks kind of passive, but this is actually an engaged and active stretch. Draw your shoulder blades together in your cow stretch and then really push them apart in your cat stretch. This helps your entire core get warmed up, and it also helps your spine warm up as well. All right, so let's go ahead and tuck our toes under and then extend our legs out and pike into our downward dog. Go ahead and pedal your heels here to warm up your legs and all of the muscles in your feet as well. So inverted exercises are really good for digestion because they use gravity to help assist the digestive processes in your body. Downward dog is a great movement when you're feeling full, bloated, or generally uncomfortable for this reason. All right, so preparing here, we are going to take a downward dog spine wave. So really articulate throughout your entire body with this movement. The wave should start all the way down in your feet, from your heels into your toes, and then the wave should extend all the way throughout your body. Send your torso forward and really feel it in your back and scapula as you push back into your downward facing dog. We will keep this going for just a little bit longer. Okay, staying in our down dog position, go ahead and walk your feet out so they're a bit wider than mat distance apart. Take your opposite hand to your opposite foot and go ahead and twist through the core, back, and spine. Take a breath or two here and then come back through center into a goddess pose. So you are using your hand to pull you, but also really use your core strength to get a nice twist throughout the upper body. Go back to center and we are going to take some knee bends here just to warm everything up. And then now let's find our center in goddess pose. Take whatever movement feels good here. If you want to rock a little bit, if you just want to stay still and breathe, it's up to you. All right, so now let's walk our hands out and lower ourselves down however you can so that we can get right into our cobra stretches. So your arms aren't really assisting you in this movement as much as they are just stabilizing you as your back, your glutes, and your core are doing the work to lift you up. So this isn't a tricep push-up by any means. So it's more of a stretch and an exercise for your upper core and upper back. Really stay engaged throughout your core, really pull throughout your core and your back to get the most out of this exercise. And now we're going to sit back into our child's pose, and then we are going to fold right into our puppy pose. And then, as if right on cue, the crew came to check everything out, but we're going to stay in our puppy pose for a few breaths. So really stretch throughout your shoulders, your upper back, and also your lower back as well. We'll stay here for a few seconds and take some nice deep breaths. Next, let's go ahead and get up onto all fours, and we are going to thread the needle. So really pull one arm up and then thread it under your other arm and down onto the mat. So you're going to rest your shoulder on the mat, and you're really going to feel that stretch throughout your core, your back, your spine. This is a wonderful, wonderful move to do if ever you're feeling stiff anywhere in your back. So now we're going to do the other side as well. All right, let's go ahead and lower ourselves back onto the mat, and we are going to go for our bow pose. So we're going to work our way into the bow pose. So first go ahead and bend one leg and take hold of your foot with that same side hand. Give it a nice pull and engage throughout the entire body. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And then next, if you're feeling ready, take both feet in both hands and really pull yourself up into a bow pose. This is a very active and engaged move. You should be engaging not only your arms, but also your legs. They should be kind of pulling against each other so that your entire body is engaged, it's tight, it's taut. Really like you are pulling a bowstring here. And then go ahead and take some pulses, take some movement here. Breathe in your pose and then come back down to rest before coming back up. If you need to take a modification, go ahead and keep your thighs on the mat and don't come up as high in your bow pose. Great, now let's stretch out on the mat real quick before shifting onto our backs for some glute bridges. But first, before we do that, let's take a quick tea break. So, tea is especially important for your digestion, especially when you're working out. Be sure to drink warm fluids to replenish your digestive system and help everything move along. All right, that's enough tea for now. Let's jump back into our glute bridges. Here, we're going to take about 8 reps of traditional glute bridges. On our last rep, let's keep our hips up and start some hip circles. 4 circles one way and then 4 circles the other way. Make these circles as big as you can, whatever range of motion feels good for you, but really try to go to the very edges of your range of motion here to get the most out of this exercise. All right, and then lower back down with control and bring your knees to your chest. We're going to repeat this sequence one more time. 8 bridges, then into our 4 circles one way, 4 circles the other. And keep your knees as stable as you can here. You don't want them to rock and then you lose your balance in your center. Really stay grounded throughout your feet. Really press into the mat with your heels to keep those knees as stable as you can. Okay, so we are taking another glute bridge here, but instead of pulsing, we're going to hold it and get a nice juicy stretch along our undersides. Try to reach your heels with your hands if you can. And then, if you would like a little extra challenge here, go ahead and lift your heels. Lift them up, bring them down, all with control. So most of your weight here should be placed on your shoulders. This is less of a glute bridge and more of a shoulder bridge. So you should feel this in your spine as well as your glutes as well. Nice. Okay, now we are going to take some knees to chest and then we are going to do some leg extensions. When you're feeling ready, go ahead and pull yourself up into Pilates stance, which simply means head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. And then we're going to take some alternating leg extensions. If you feel pulling on your neck in this position, go ahead and rest your head on the ground. But when your head is up in Pilates stance, think of holding a tangerine or a plum under your chin. A small fruit, it doesn't matter, pick your favorite, but you want to think of holding it under your chin gently, ever so slightly, so you don't squish it, but you also don't let it roll away. Okay, from here, let's go ahead and take some spine twists. One twist, one direction, then a twist in the other before we repeat our leg extension sequence. When we do our twists here, make sure that the opposite shoulder is staying on the mat. You don't want your upper body to turn with your leg because then you lose the stretch. All right, now we are going to go ahead and do that leg extension sequence again. Great job. Now let's go ahead and take some rolls here just to relieve any tension we're feeling in our backs or our hips. Take some knee circles also if they feel good. All right, now legs up to tabletop, and we're going to prepare for some jackknives. So really control your momentum here. Your hands are acting as stabilizers as they're glued to the mat as you lift your legs up and a bit over with your core. If you want to, feel free to add a little toe tap or keep your legs straight up high, whichever feels best for you. But remember, control is the word here. Exhale as you push your legs up and then inhale on the way down. Just a few more, and then we'll move on to our next exercise. Keeping our legs straight here, let's prepare for the classic rollover. So send your legs back behind your head and rest your toes on the ground. Breathe slow in this position and breathe extra slow as you start to bring your legs back down. So this move is great for your spine, and in being great for your spine, it's also great for your digestion as well. Taking care of your spine should be one of the first steps you take in taking care of and improving your digestion. All right, and then on our last roll over here, we're going to stay here and we're going to clasp our hands together into a plow pose. If you're feeling flexible enough here, go ahead and take some bent knees. Now, slowly, let's roll down all the way with our legs. Then, when ready, roll up until we're sitting tall. Now, let's take a forward fold, and then we're going to be taking some seated spine waves here. So drape your hands over your legs as if they're being draped over a beach ball. You should be keeping a nice curve in your upper spine. This is a spine stretch more than a hamstring stretch, so really move throughout your back and less through your legs. And move like water, gentle and fluid, and really articulate throughout your entire spine. Now, let's move into some seated spine twists. Opposite hand on opposite leg and twist. Twisting improves digestion because it almost acts as a massage for your organs. So breathe deep in your twists to make the most of this move. Next, let's take some wide stance mini C curves. So imagine you're holding someone's hands here and you're both taking turns pulling each other back and forth. Make this really fluid and as controlled as possible, and move from the lower core. Now we're going to transition into some classic Pilates spine twists. Bring both hands together in front of you and then open like a door from one side to the other. You should feel a fantastic stretch throughout your back and your core, and you should also feel the work of this exercise in your back as well. All right, final exercise here. Let's come into a seated position and take some spine circles. So we focus so much on the spine in this routine because of the gut-spine connection. The digestive system is intricately linked with the nervous system and the spinal cord. If the spinal cord is impaired, digestion will suffer as well. That's why it's so important to take care of the spine if you're looking to improve your digestion. So I hope this routine helped you. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to drink your tea, and I hope to see you in my next routine.